Let's start with today's quote. Today's quote is the most common way people give up their power is by thinking they don't have any. And that's from Alice Walker. And we're gonna do a little story time. I've been thinking a lot lately about um, improving habits, improving cleaning habits, improving organization methods, improving like just the stuff in my house. I've been doing a lot of decluttering. We are preparing to have a garage sale in the spring, and my intention is to get through most of the stuff in my house and really pare down what we don't need, setting a stuff aside for the garage sale, donating things, throwing things away, um, just really looking at every space in my house because while I watch a lot of decluttering, cleaning, organizing content. Um, I'm also a big fan of taking what you need from that kind of stuff and adapting it to how you actually live. And that means analyzing yourself and analyzing your space and analyzing what your family does. And one thing I do like, I think it's Dana K. White. Um, she mentions your clutter threshold, and that's like how much stuff can you have before it becomes too much to maintain regularly. And I will say we are still above our clutter threshold. I hate cleaning. I hate having to pick up all the time. And most of the time, it's just stuff that just gets strewn about the house and people just don't pick it up. Now, we have to improve the habits of picking up, all of us. Um, but I recently heard somebody say something about how long it takes to build a habit. I think I think they said like 21 days or something like that. Now, whether or not you enjoy that habit at the end of those 21 days is also like I never am gonna enjoy having to wash dishes. Just never. I'm never gonna be like yes. But I will say that it is now 28 days into the month because I think we started like a day or two before New Year's, but I don't know. I'm not super worried about um the exact number of days. That's kind of irrelevant to me. It's a ballpark. So I'm like, well, maybe I'll just estimate about a month. So for the month of January, we've been really good about staying up on our dishes. It's been making the kitchen a lot easier to take care of. It's making cooking for my husband cooks dinner every night. It's been easier for him to just go in and immediately start cooking. Because before it used to be this huge production of cleaning up the entire kitchen before he could even start cooking, and then it's like 2 hours or more of just maintenance and then a chore. So chores followed by chores, and so it's been really helpful. It's been anxiety lifting. Like I don't ever want to go in and load the dishwasher after dinner. Like after we sit down, we eat, we watch our shows, and then I just want to move on to the next relaxing thing. But anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes of time with, my husband and I working together as a team, usually if we work together as a team, it's like 10, 15 minutes. Then the kitchen's caught up. I wipe down the counters, we load the dishwasher, and then any like few utensils that can get shoved in just before bed, run the dishwasher, and then in the morning, the dishes are clean. And then as long as somebody puts them away before dinner prep starts, we can just load whatever in, and it's been working. So I've decided I'm going to try and maybe shoot for one new habit building thing every month this year. Not really because it's like a resolution or anything, but because I've been on a kick of how to improve all of that stuff. I'm tired of being tired of all that stuff, but I'm also aware that if I add all of it in at once, I'm gonna not do it. I'm gonna get overwhelmed. I'm gonna get tired. I'm gonna get cranky. And then, so my goal is to, when we hit February, okay, what's the next thing we can start building in every day? I think what I'm gonna do is aim for like a 5 minute pickup for everybody. Like everybody just spends 5 minutes picking up stuff, putting away stuff. I thought about doing it like for my 6 year old, like go upstairs and pick up 20 things and put 20 things away because he's got like a bunch of little toys. So if I say pick up 5 things, he'll go upstairs and pick up 5 little cubes, and that'll be it. So I think 20 might be a good mark for him. My older child, I might be able to say pick up 5 things. The other day, I looked at him because he has a tray in the living room that is his spot, and his spot is constantly covered in stuff, and stuff breeds stuff. It's like tribbles, and I was like, I need you to pick up, because I usually try and get him to pick up trash, laundry, and dishes in his space, like things that need to go. Like he has the ketchup, he has the salt, and I'm like, besides that stuff, I want you to pick up 5 more things from your tray, because it's stuff that just comes in from school or wherever, and he sits it down in his space, and then it just stays for weeks and weeks and weeks. I'm like, I want you to pick up 5 more things than just laundry, trash, and dishes slash kitchen stuff. And I think 5 might be good for him because his stuff is generally bigger. Um, and then maybe my husband and I can do 5 minutes a day, because the real goal is to get to a place where the cleaning tasks, like the actual cleaning, not maintenance, dishes, trash, laundry, um, all of that stuff is just daily maintenance stuff. That's not really cleaning. That's not me opening the toilet and scrubbing it and wiping it all down. That's not me scrubbing the tub. That's not someone, mopping the floor or vacuuming. Although vacuuming could be a daily task considering how much traffic. We don't have a huge house. So, but I'd like to get to a point where cleaning tasks can be accomplished in, 15 to 30 minutes tops. Um, but also kind of on a daily thing, because before the holidays really hit hard, I was getting into a rhythm of taking 15 minutes every day to clean up a space. But that was still me not maintaining daily picking up and tasks like that. So I think the next step is going to be getting everybody in the swing of, okay, everybody, like pick up, you know, for 5 minutes, or pick up 20 objects or whatever. And as we declutter and build those habits over time, by the end of the year, our house could be much less stressful for me in particular, but also, for everybody. I think everybody starts to get kind of antsy when things are left out all the time, and then it just builds up over time. Anyway, so the reason it relates to this whole giving up their power quote that I picked for today, because that could be a big statement, right? And probably was from Alice Walker, a big statement, but it can also be little things, because one of my big things, and I try not to say I'm like the perfect parent or anything like that, but I really don't like conformity through guilt and shame. I really don't like those tacts. They're really easy tacts to take to get people to do what they're supposed to do. I don't want to guilt my son into picking up his laundry because A, it makes a mess, B, it's stressful for me, C, it makes it harder for me to do laundry. I'd rather you just bring me your laundry because I wash and fold it. Although he's getting to the point where I'm like, you might want to start doing that yourself. Or at least having him be more involved with it. But and people probably would argue that he should have already been doing that, but we're not going to get into differences of opinion on what age is appropriate for people to start managing that kind of stuff for themselves. Um, but I don't want to make him feel guilty to do it. I want him to understand the practicality of it. And I've tried to do that, but I've also fallen into the slump of guilt and shame as well. But they really aren't great tacks to take with people to get them to choose a better thing. And I started really thinking about that, I don't know, a week or so ago, related to something else. And then I was like, well, what about the guilt and shame you do to yourself? And how that affects, like your power center, your sense of your self power. Um, and I was just like, oh, I do that to myself. And I've been trying to get away from punishing myself when I don't do the things I think I'm supposed to be doing. Um, because it doesn't make me feel good, and it actually doesn't make me do things more. It usually, if I punish myself too much, I get into a self-fulfilling prophecy of or cycle of not doing it because I start to feel depressed about it. And then depression usually leads to not wanting to do the things. Um, and I've really been trying to get away from, like, if I don't do a load of laundry every day, or when when I think I should be doing it, of feeling bad about not doing it, sitting on the couch doing something else while feeling bad that I am not doing the laundry. And then that makes me not want to do the laundry. And, continuously until I get fed up or we have no clothes or somebody's out of socks or whatever. And then having to do it and then begrudgingly doing it and feeling bitter about not getting it done sooner, or why didn't they tell me they were out of clothes or whatever. So I use guilt and shame tactics on my own self. And really, I have the power to do those things, to make different choices. And as long as I'm not spiraling into a guilt and shame punishment cycle, I can say, no, I've got the power to do the things. And so that's why I started looking at that quote today. So that's my quote of the day, and that's how it relates to what I'm going through. And if you're new here or haven't been with me before, I started doing quotes of the day from my, um, what is it, notifications or whatever. Because even if you don't join me, I try and send some kind of positive energy out. Maybe it's something you need to hear. Maybe it's something that affects you personally. Maybe it's something that you can glean. And maybe the power quote means something different to where you are right now. It's really not necessary that it's you're going through the same kind of stuff I'm going through, but maybe it is. And maybe it's something you need to hear. And maybe I say it in a way that affects you today, that if you heard it 6 months ago it may not have mattered, or maybe I'm not the one that gives you the message you need to hear. But I am a firm believer in getting your information from various sources, depending on, like, it'll hit you different. Or maybe I say it different, or it's today you needed to hear it, or whenever you're watching. So, anyway,